What is up, survivors? We are back with another mod review. For today's mod review, we're going to be going over the Strange Creatures mod. This is a mod that adds 4 new creatures, technically 2 variants, but we'll talk about more of it, how they all work, and where you can find this stuff. So let's get into it. All right, so what we basically have is 2 different versions of a Phoenix that get added into here, and then 2 different versions of a Wyvern that get added into this as well. Now, we're over here on the Genesis 2 map, but to be honest with you, I spawned these guys in. I cannot confirm that all of these spawn on the Genesis 2 map, but we can talk about where you're particularly going to find these guys, and let's go over everything. So let's go over the Crimson Phoenix. This is number 1. This is the first one. This is a Phoenix variant. You'll typically find this guy in a desert biome. Now, the way you tame this Phoenix, and it will be the same basic concept as the one over here, is you'll actually kill one and get its ashes, and then you'll basically expose the ashes to a high level temperature, and that's how you'll raise your own Phoenix. That's how the Crimson Phoenix works. So think of the kill it to get its ashes, but then you kind of treat the ashes like an egg, but it has to be a really hot environment. So let's get on this guy. So right away, it can walk backwards as well. So already more mobile and easier to use than the regular Phoenix that we're used to seeing. Can also fly backwards too. This Crimson Phoenix can still melt down metal for you and can still harvest metal for you, but it actually does get a weight reduction as far as scrap metal and metal on it. So you'll be able to carry a lot more, which was always a bummer with the original Phoenix, because it was awesome having a mobile forge like that, but it couldn't carry very much, so it was a little bit of a bummer on that side of things. Anywho, so that's that. So you still have your left click bite. You still have your right click, which is the fire breath that you get from the Phoenix. The C attack is the claw, which would also do your harvesting for you. But then X will give you this mini supernova, which is pretty cool. Which, as you can see, sets things on fire, and it kills a lot of things pretty easily. Now, it's a cooldown of 30 seconds. You're not going to be able to use this very often. You can't solely rely on it because, like I said, 30-second cooldown. But it does one heck of a punch, which is pretty impressive, as you can see from the evidence out here. All right, and again, you can lame these guys. You can walk them around. There is an option to breed them, and as always, we'll have a link to the Steam Workshop in the description so you guys can check that out. I think the sculpt looks awesome. These guys are great. So let's go over to this one. This one is called the Tundra Phoenix. This is like a snow version of the Phoenix is pretty much what you're looking at here. This is in the snow biomes, obviously, and you would tame it the same way. You would kill one, grab its ashes, but you would have to expose this one to extremely cold temperatures for this to work as well. So let's get on it. Same thing. Maneuverability is the same exact way. You can still go backwards and forwards. You can walk. You can do all that stuff. You get all the cool things, and as you would probably already guessed, this is definitely more ice-based than it was fire-based. So we still have the left click, which is the bite, right click, which is the ice breath, which instead of a fire breath, you have the C attack that can harvest resources for you. But the basic ability, instead of working as a forge, this one will actually exponentially increase the spoil time of just about anything with a spoil timer on it to bump it up to the equivalent of a refrigerator. So you got a flying refrigerator for you, which is super useful depending on what you're out there harvesting. The X on this one is called stalactites. This is again a 30-second cooldown, but it is a pretty super hit. As you can see, it's pretty effective. Anyway, that is pretty much how the Tundra Phoenix works. So the Tundra Phoenix, the Crimson Phoenix, both very much alike as far as their mechanics go, but their abilities definitely catered towards, the theme that they were going with here. And again, the sculpts on these guys look absolutely amazing. All right, so let's go over to our 2 wyverns here. We'll start with the one down here. This one is called the Bright Crystal Wyvern, as opposed to your regular crystal wyvern. This is a bright crystal wyvern. We got the let me fly up here so you can see all the cool lights and the crystals all over this dude. Let's get on here. The maneuverability is the same as a normal wyvern. You're not really going to get too much out of that. These guys can typically be found in the space areas in Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. So this is something you could find out here on the Genesis 2 map, guaranteed. These are KO tames, so you do knock them out and tame them like you would normally knock out tame just about anything else. They can use all the breath attacks that normal crystal wyverns can use. Gets better. They're immune to radiation. It gets better than that. They get the hydration bonus that the tropical wyverns do, and it gets better than that. They can dive like the snow owl or the griffin. Now, as you can see, I don't get the slam attack, but I can use that momentum to speed myself up pretty good. Combine that with the hydration buff, and you can meander around maps like this that have a lot of scattered water between that and the dive bomb. You can get around pretty quick with this guy, so definitely speed is your friend. The left click is just a normal bite attack. The C is a normal pickup, or the wing flap rather. So if you're on the ground, it'll wing flap and get some stuff for you, and if you're up high, it'll you can pick some stuff up with it. Picks up the same things that a normal wyvern would pick up. There's no really restrictions anywhere there. The right click attack does the blood, I think it's, what is that? The blood breath? Is that the blood breath from the, yeah, it's the blood breath from the blood wyverns. Then X will do a ember breath, which is the fire from the ember wyverns. And then Q will do the water breath from the water wyverns. So, or the tropical wyverns. I don't know why I said water. Anyhow, like I said, tagging that with the idea that this guy can get the water bonus on top of it makes this super fast, and it does get, it's actually, I think it's, bite is actually capable of harvesting a lot of resources for you too. Oh yeah, you can harvest stone for you, and it does get a weight reduction on a lot of this stuff too, which is pretty cool. So you got a resource harvesting, really fast guy. This is a little bit of everything. This guy does. I think predominantly though, I think honestly you'd probably use this one for a bit more resource intense things, and then also like a really good travel fast mount. But at the end of the day, it is still wyvern, so it can still pack a punch when it needs to. We're gonna land this guy up here. Land. You can breed these guys. They do lay eggs, so you get a male and a female, and you can breed them like normal egg layers, so it's pretty cut and dry as far as how that works. Once again, I think the sculpt looks crazy. It looked good on these guys. It fits really well. I think it looks wonderful. Did a good job with this one, man. The sculpts look great. All right, so up here, last but not least, obviously, is the shadow wyvern. Wyvern. I always, you guys know me. I can't pronounce anything. I think this is like a graphical error. The white part coming out of the head, because it wasn't like that when I spawned it in originally. It just had the black shadow effect. So maybe that's me. I'm not sure what's going on here. Like, I see it pop up sometimes, and then it kind of goes away, and then it comes back. I don't know. That might be a me issue, could be a mod issue. Honestly, I don't know. At any rate, these guys, you will typically find them in radiation areas. So this is right for right now. You're looking at aberration, really. For right now is where you're going to find this one, in the radiation area, which is an interesting concept considering aberration doesn't have any flyers. This would be the only true flyer that's on aberration that you could ride. Taming these guys is a little bit different. You actually have to lower their health down to about 30% and then KO tame them, but they do have a really high torpor, so definitely pay attention to that one. Breeding these guys, they're eggs, so it's pretty simple. And just as the crystal wyvern that we looked at had all of those abilities, this one has all of the standard elemental abilities, so pretty interesting. It's also immune to radiation, all sorts of cool stuff. As far as abilities go on here, you have your left click, which is your bite. Your right click is going to be all your different elemental attacks, and basically what you'll do is swap between them using X to change the state. So if we hit X, you'll get this animation, and as we can see, this is the lightning. We're seeing the lightning effects pile around. Once the lightning goes away, we toggle over. Now we're using the fire breath, then hitting it over again. Could be using the ice breath. Yep. And actually, where's the poison one? The poison one was definitely in here. Maybe I couldn't, you know what? Maybe I misjudged it. That was the lightning. There we go. There's your poison. That's your, that's your frost. Obviously, the sound effect should have gave it away, right? And that's your fire. So you have all the different effects, and like I said, you just hit X to toggle between all of them. So you'll be able to pick stuff up, still be able to use the wing flap when you're on the ground, all that good stuff. Now, the only other thing to do specifically with this wyvern is that when it gets below 50% of its health, you're able to enable some sort of dark mode on it, which allows it to kind of recover some of its abilities, its health and stamina, but more importantly, it unlocks another ability called the Black Meteor, which you have to be in dark use to use, which is a super attack, much like the other phoenixes over there, which is pretty devastating as well. That is pretty much it as far as these guys go. I'm always curious to see what happens when we start bending some of the elemental abilities of current creatures that are clearly already elemental. I like the Phoenix idea. The Phoenix idea is super cool. I like the idea of like a more of a elemental frozen one, and then a fire one. That'd be cool to see maybe like a poison one, maybe. That'd be kind of interesting. But I like these. I definitely like the crimson one better than the normal Phoenix, just from a maneuverability standpoint, and the fact that it can actually harvest a decent amount of metal. I felt like that was a lot of work to get a Phoenix in Scorched Earth, and it really, other than bragging rights, it was okay, but it wasn't, you know, like anything, I don't know, it didn't feel worth the time that I put into it, unfortunately. Something like that definitely would. And then the idea of having a frozen one's pretty cool too, right? So if you're on a map that doesn't have something like a desert and you have a tundra, snowy place, it definitely fits in pretty well. They both work pretty well. The crystal wyvern obviously looks cool. I think it looks, they both look cool actually. The actual, well, I mean, let's be real, they all look cool, but I like the abilities on this one. It seems, honestly, the wyverns seem a little OP to me, being able to do everything, but I guess that depends on the server, right? So if you're playing with something with high level of creatures or other high ability creatures that have all sorts of other abilities, then yeah, I guess it's probably on par with them. But on like a normal arc playthrough with not a whole lot of creature buffs or creature mods going, I'm not sure if you want to, it's completely up to you, but I'm not sure if I would add it in there simply because they seem really overpowered compared to the other stuff. A whole lot of extra abilities. A lot of cool abilities, but a lot of abilities wrapped up into one. But the sculpts look great. The mod seems to work great. I'm not sure what's going on with the Shadow Wyvern head. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's me. Could be my game, could be the mod. I am running this in single player. Sometimes that screws some things up. You never can tell there. But all in all, they look beautiful. And I really, one of my favorite things about this mod is that shadow effect coming off of this wyvern. It looks amazing. I love it. It looks great. Check that out. It looks, I don't know, the mod creators, like, I don't know, they blow my mind away sometimes. Anyway, looks great, works great. Anyway, guys, that's the Strange Creatures mod. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, we will have a link to the workshop in the description of the video, so you guys can check that out when you wanna. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you on the next one.